It's a breaking news edition of Your Pet's Health Tip of the Day. Here now, with all the news that's fit to sniff, is Dr. Bryan Langlois.
Hello again, everybody. This is Dr. Langlois with a breaking news or special bulletin form of Your Pet's Health Tip of the Day. And it has to do with the breaking news that has kind of been out there in the last few days in the media regarding Purina dog foods and the class action lawsuit that's being brought against Purina, specifically in regards to their brand of food called Beneful. For those of you that are not aware, there has been a class action suit that has been lodged in California against the Purina Company in regards to Beneful, with the allegation that some of the ingredients that are present in Beneful dog food is causing major health issues with dogs, especially regarding their livers and potential death and death in some of these animals. And I just wanted to kind of let everybody kind of know what we know right now from a veterinary perspective and more of a scientific standpoint, and that is this. While these reports have been alleged, there is nothing concrete as of this point that we are aware of in the veterinary channels that is linking something specific in the Beneful product to these dogs' deaths. There is a potential causal relationship between the two. However, there's been no scientific causation being definitively proved by independent testing at this point. That's not to say that some of these independent tests are not ongoing, and I'm sure that these foods are being scrutinized to look for potential toxins and things like that. We are just not aware, or at least I'm not aware, of any results that have come out of these tests at this time. The two main areas that are being brought up in regards to Beneful are what's called propylene glycol. And the media will go out and say, you know, oh, well, this is the antifreeze, and antifreeze is toxic to dogs. And there's truth in that statement. The antifreeze, propylene glycol, an element in what is kind of considered more of the pet-friendly antifreezes, certainly is toxic once you get to a high enough level. However, it takes 3 times as much of that, propylene glycol, to affect an animal as ethylene glycol, which is the main ingredient in most antifreezes. And when you look at the amount needed to cause major problems in dogs and potential death, you're talking about food that would basically have to be saturated in the stuff. And that's just not happening. You know, we're just not seeing that in the food. The other thing that they're mentioning is something called an aflatoxin, and basically what these are is these are myco or fungal toxins that can grow on certain grains, and especially corn. And the reason this is being looked at is because if you look at the ingredients labels on Beneful bags, corn is often the first ingredient. So again, we're not exactly sure what is going on at this point. And so the next question that always comes up in these situations is, well, what does my vet recommend? And the best thing I can offer is to contact your vet individually and find out, is the food, if you are feeding Beneful, should you change it, should you not? Your vet is the best resource for this. What I would advise is to anybody is what we always advise, which is make sure that you look at the ingredients in the package of food that you're getting, and do your research. You know, look up what some of these ingredients are, where some of these ingredients may be sourced. If people are really that concerned, my recommendation would be to temporarily stop feeding the Beneful food if you have concerns about it potentially causing illness. That would be a recommendation that I would make to anybody regardless of the brand of food. If you are concerned about a food potentially causing a reaction in your animal, the obvious thing that we would recommend is to consider switching to a different diet. And on that topic, when you look at some of these consumer complaints that are put online, and you read these 882, 1,000 complaints, some do have very legitimate merit as far as what certain toxins may be causing severe issues in their animals. However, in other cases, when you read these complaints, what people are describing is, I hate to use the term basic, but that's really a good term, basic allergic reactions or dietary indiscretion reactions that we see with some diets. You know, it is not unique to the Beneful brand. Some people will feed a certain diet and it will cause an allergic reaction in the skin or the hair or, you know, the eyes, things like that, or more of a gastrointestinal reaction such as vomiting and diarrhea. And when we switch the food, that's, you know, goes away, hopefully, if we find the right food. That's not an implication of the food that you're feeding necessarily being bad. It's just that your individual animal, for some reason, does not agree with the food. Same as in us, certain foods will not agree with us, and we have to adjust our diets accordingly. So that's very, very important to remember, that not every single reaction that is noted to a food is necessarily due to a food being toxic. However, if you are very concerned, again, my recommendation would be to temporarily stop feeding. that diet and waiting to see what the science really shows. And the science is going to dictate what we as veterinarians are going to ultimately recommend and what is going to truly be found. If there is a problem with potential Beneful and an ingredient source or something like that, that will come out. And we as veterinarians will, advise you as pet owners accordingly. But remember, the best two things in regards to this whole thing are make sure you talk to your veterinarian. Don't rely on a lot of things on the internet that you may see. Talk to your veterinarian about the diet you are giving your dogs. They are the best source of information and they can help you immensely in figuring out nutritional needs for your animal and recommending good diets. And make sure you do your research on looking at labels. Make sure that you check all the ingredients. There are going to be different ingredients in different types of dog and cat food, so you want to make sure that you definitely search all of those things out. It will make things much better. We urge you to stay abreast of this situation, and we will have updates as they kind of become available for this. But I did want to kind of make this special little announcement for you guys to make sure that everybody understood what was going on, what the science is, and how you as a pet owner can kind of stay informed and be proactive and potentially change the diets if you do have concerns about that. So remember, always contact your veterinarian first. They're going to be the best source of information. Keep abreast of all of this, and that is your special bulletin pet health tip of the day.
For more information on this very important and breaking news topic, be sure to contact your local vet, especially if you're interested in potentially changing the diet, as your veterinarian will be the best source on what diet to potentially change to, as well as the proper way to make sure that your pet is transitioned into that diet.